this would be a really powerful topic because it's like when you really break it down in facts, it really is a powerful tool. So every 6 months we get released the latest median house prices across the Perth map region, and it's incredibly powerful to see where the median price has shifted.
This is the Build Out West podcast with your host Tony Hyde from Evolution House and Land Specialists and Catherine Smith from Build Bright Builder Brokers.
If you guys are looking to build in WA or simply curious to see what's going on in building, you guys are in the right place. We're here to give insight with professionals in the game, coming to give the inside scoop. Episodes are uploaded weekly, so don't worry, we don't skip a beat and you won't either. Like, share, subscribe, sit back, relax, and let's go.
Hello and welcome to the Build Out West podcast with your your host Tony Hyde. And
Gosh.
It's been a long day already.
It's been a day. Let's repeat that one. Welcome to the Build Out West podcast with your host Catherine Smith and
Tony Hyde. There we go, flipping it around.
We did it. How's that?
Sorry about that, guys. Hey, you can see we're not robots.
We've just been jibber jabbering for a while behind the scenes. So forgive us.
What we're going to do for next year, There's some good stuff.
Yeah.
Get more structure around it.
We thought this would be a really powerful topic because it's like, when you really break it down in, facts, it really is really a powerful tool. So every 6 months we get released the latest median house prices across the Perth map region, and it's incredibly powerful to see where the median price has shifted. So we thought what we'll do in this episode is really go through some target hotspots for the last 12 months in Perth, and then basically explain why there was such a rapid growth in that area. So we have chosen 3 suburbs to really highlight on the map. Now, if you look at this map and if you want a copy, email us, we will send it through to you. In the last 12 months, basically what we're referencing is September 2023 median house price in Perth and September 2024 median house price in Perth. So that's sort of the swing that we're referencing for this episode. Any suburb you look at, there will be growth because obviously the last 12 months in Perth has been on fire, rapid growth in every area. Some had more than others, and we're really just going to target the ones that had the most growth. So if you look at the map, how it works is purple is the most expensive suburbs in terms of median price point. I think it's 1.1 million.
Yep.
Then it goes red. Red is 750 to $1 million.
Yep.
Orange 550 to 750, and then yellow, and then green. So you see the shift between the two is actually really aggressive.
Yep,
heaps more purple, particularly in that northern coastal
it's not even like
area.
1 or 2 suburbs, it's like multiple
Maybe,
suburbs.
at least 10.
It's huge, which is like, wow, when we put them side by side.
Yeah, and you just go, wow, there's a lot of, $1 million suburbs, multi-million-dollar suburbs now, and then a lot more red, which is that $750 to $1 million mark as well.
Absolutely.
So we really want to start with Henley Brook, which we have done a suburb hotspot on, which I'm sure you've all listened to. Actually, that one got a lot of traction, and I understand why, because obviously Henley Brook is one to watch. I'm just going to reference the September 23 map. Was the median house price was $550 there. So if you look at Henley Brook on the Perth map, it's the northeast pocket there. It is the extension or the joining suburb, if you will, of sort of Brabham Dayton, and then you have Ellenbrook, all that sort of just above it. So Henley Brook's almost this merging suburb between the two, joining that whole northern corridor, the northeast corridor. In saying that, now what with Metronet, obviously with their train station extension, the growth there has been really rapid. On top of Ellenbrook is Bullsbrook. Now, Bullsbrook is like a huge suburb. I don't even know why it is so big on the map, but it's literally like 10 suburbs in one in terms of size. It's
an old country sort of thing. There's a lot of acreage in that.
Yeah,
as well,
I wonder when we get, because obviously, Bullsbrook's one to watch in terms of development, and obviously there is sales there at the moment, but it's still very much farmland. But I think we might have to subdivide this into North Bullsbrook, South, East, or West, because it's such a
deep dive
in terms of size. It's the Texas of Texas of Perth in terms of size. So it's hard to reference, but in a nutshell, Ellenbrook is just below Bullsbrook. So Henley Brook, being south of that, is really joining that northern corridor beautifully. So the growth there has been rapid. We're now looking at $750 for the median house price point for Henley Brook. So in 12 months, it's gone up $200,000, right? $550,000, $750,000.
Yeah,
so
it's crazy. I mean, Ellenbrook, years ago, it was promised to get a train station, and then old mate decided he wasn't doing it, and then eventually got it. And what happened was a lot of people bought in Ellenbrook because the train station come, and then it stopped for 5 years.
Yeah, at
and
least.
It caused a massive issue. The train's in there, and it was coming in, and the growth has just been boom. And it's Ellenbrook in that area, you're right on the Swan Valley. It's
actually lovely. Yeah.
But, do you know what? Go and listen to Suburb Hotspot. You'll tell you why it's good.
Definitely go if you want to see the reason for the rapid growth of Henley Brook is obviously go back and referencing our Suburb Hotspot podcast on Henley Brook. But it's exciting to watch because I can't wait to see where it's going to go. It's actually a higher median now than Brabham and Dayton, which obviously is quite expensive. But it's the new, exciting family area. There's going to be the sports clubs, the new schools.
I think with Henley Brook as well, there's a lot of old builds there, like old established, and they're quite large blocks and stuff. So I think that's what's pushing that median up as well, because those houses that were there weren't worth that much, but then people go, hold on, for 600k, I can get like almost an acre block or a
and they will be subdivided.
Yeah.
So there's obviously a lot of development happening as well. So the developers are obviously, paying more than the median house price, which obviously will bump it up because it's obviously new and exciting there.
Yeah.
And look, it's not cheap, and it's kind of bang on in the middle of where you go. I mean, a block there will be about $420 to build on it, $350 to $400. So high sevens to build there.
I think so.
And a really beautiful family area.
And that's there's not really much more to say on it. I don't think it's just it's lovely. It's a nice area.
Yeah, and you can see why it's grown by $200,000 in the last 12 months in terms of median. But the next one we're going to go is southeast. Yep. So we went northeast and we're going southeast. This is the beautiful suburb of Whitby. Actually, we should do a suburb hotspot on Whitby.
We've done one in Byford, didn't we? Did we do Byford?
I can't remember.
We've done that many.
I know. Whitby is the little sister of Byford, we call that. So Byford is, how would you describe it? It's like country meets,
maybe not so much anymore, but it used to be like a country town that met
it's about 40 minutes from Perth.
And inland.
And inland, but it's its own special people there, you know what I mean? They sort of live there, work there.
Yeah.
They don't generally commute into town. It's more in the hills as well, if you will. Yeah. So it's sort of that.
It's got a bit of everything.
Yeah.
Almost gone in any.
A lot of nature. It's actually beautiful.
Almost connects down south as well. You're on the route to Banjara and stuff.
Correct. So you got a lot of the nature desirability.
Unless you're going there, there's no real reason to go. So what I mean? Like you don't just drive through.
Yeah.
Byford.
And that's the thing. The people from Byford live and work in Byford. And
I mean, some of the minis out there. The bowling club's fantastic. Have you ever been to the bowling club on a Sunday?
I haven't. Shocker.
It's amazing. It's good beers. It's like a Sunday sesh. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And they've got some really good boozers in there as well. I've got some mates in Byford. You might have guessed. But it's good. It's a good little town.
Yeah. So what's happened in Byford is that it's now very much a mature suburb. It's one of the oldest in Perth, to be fair. It's now obviously mature, but it's at its cap in terms of serviceability of population. So Whitby has now created like a little release for Byford in terms of the people that lived in Byford and grew up and everything, generally speaking, want to stay there because that's where their family and community is. Now they're having families of their own and children and things like that. So in terms of town planning, Whitby was sort of jumping off the bandwagon of that. So a lot of the people that are now building and living in Whitby are essentially the OG Byforders. Byfordonians, we'll go with that. But they just want to have their own, own space and things like that. So in terms of blocks, they're actually decent size as well. Usually you get a 4-bedroom house there. But from 12 months, so we're going to go September 2023, that was $470 for Whitby, which is, I know, we laugh about that now. $470 for Whitby was the median house price. And now we're looking at $665. So what's that, $200,000? In terms of 12 months, and that's just the demand and the overflow of the growing population in that pocket. So what's funny about Perth is because we're so spread out, like rurally, like, in terms of our urban spread, we kind of like to stick to our areas though, you know, we don't want to go too far. So once the release of Whitby came about, all the Byfordonians, as we call them, jumped onto that bandwagon. So, and next to Byford is also Mundijong, okay? Yeah. Mundijong now is also having land releases. Parcel just is releasing, what they're calling it Mundi, you know. Yeah. So that's probably the first release there, which will be, again, the new extension. So if we're kind of copying what's happened in that north-east corridor, Dayton, Brabham, Henley Brook, Ellenbrook, this is now going to be that space. Yeah, that Byford would be
in that area. It's all farmland and the hills around it. So you literally have to drive into it, and then it's just like, oh, there's an oasis of houses.
Yeah.
But it's all the acreage around it. I think, and my feeling is it's slowly going to start disappearing. What Whitby's done as well, started connected to those suburbs just north of it, which used to be like 10 minutes, but it's 5 minutes. It's starting to, Byford's starting to be more connected. I've got some friends that have moved out there, and I was, you're in Byford, there's a bit of a drive, and it's not really anymore. It's really easy to get in and out. And
because you've got the long roads, right?
Yeah, long big straight ones. It's all single, but it'll happen. So
and Byford's definitely up there in terms of price. I think someone was saying they're renting there at the moment for $900 a week in Byford.
That's just, you know, wow.
Yeah,
you know, I get it, but wow, like I've never, you know, I didn't think that would be
the case.
I always thought Byford would be nice, kind of like a nice cheaper suburb. It's not the case. It's a plums.
It's still affordable, but it's definitely has its desirability, which obviously is bringing the price.
If you want to be away from the city and away from the hustle bustle, it's an easy drive in and an easy drive out, and you're just like, it's like a oasis of just calm.
Yeah, but you also, because you're sort of in the hills, you have that sort of separation from the city life, more into the country life, and that has that nice blend to it. And old
Byford again, like the Henley Brook's got those big old big blocks, and I don't think for a long time that will get subdivided. I think those big blocks will keep. Like Port Kennedy is very much.
I think
like
what they've done is they've kept the character of Byford, and that's why they've had to release the new builds in like a whole new estate, which is obviously Whitby that we're referring to. So to keep the character and charm of Byford, which I love, you know, it has its own like country feel to it, but being still a city, a suburb in the city. It's
slowly coming away from it, but the people that live there love that sort of. Like, I think. I hope I'm not talking crass about it. It's not. I'm not saying I actually enjoy being out there.
I think they have the good dome as well.
Yeah, they have a good dome. Yeah, okay. I just like the bowling club.
Yeah, I love a dome.
I just like the bowling
Tony
club.
knows. I always take Tony to domes.
Yeah, that's it. Well, look, it's a great little sub. If you can get in there and invest or whatever, you would have a great
anything.
Time.
$200,000 growth in such an undeveloped suburb of Whitby, and a powerful statement, really, you know. And I think Mundijong will be one to watch as well coming up. But you know, we laugh at 470 because you know now land there is well and truly in the threes. So just to build there, you're definitely in the sixes. You know, so
absolutely. That was the one that got me the most, was the growth there because of not isolated, but just isolated, I suppose, and away from all that, the main city. But
and that's what's exciting
but
because
I also get it.
When the infrastructure is in place, like right now, if you go to Whitby, it's really more just, what's it called? The houses are just currently being built. It's still very underdeveloped. The schools will be coming, the daycares and all that. Once all those things are in place, the shopping centres, it'll be very similar to like a Baldivis, if you will.
I think so.
And that sort of hub there where it's sort of self-sufficient, self-contained.
Yeah, the Baldivis connects onto Rockingham and Port Kennedy, and they're all developed suburbs. So the new suburbs and it's got that nice blend. I think they've done it well. You go down with Lakelands and all that stuff. They're all doing the same thing. So
now
mix it well.
In terms of our 12-month recap, our last one.
This one, I'm just baffled by this one.
I know. We have some stories on this one, right?
Yeah.
Is Anketell. Now we have probably talked about Anketell aggressively for the last 2024. But Anketell is essentially just south of Wandi, east of Wellard. It's on the southern corridor there. It's not that far in terms of being from the CBD. It's 25 minutes, kind of quite, close to the CBD. If you look at the map from 2023 September, it was actually still white. So when we talked about the colours at the earliest part of the episode, didn't even have a median house price because it was just farmland. So it was just paddocks, just horse paddocks. Now, for someone like me and you, what we do for a job, that obviously excites us because, getting in so early and getting in before everyone else does, that's where you make your money. So the map came out, again, it comes out every 6 months. So March 2024 came out, the median house price was $420. March 2024, September is obviously 6 months post that. So in 6 months, it went from $420 to $660 in 6 months. So if you banked in something sort of before April this year for Anketell, you're laughing. You know, I had maybe 5 clients that got land for, I'm not joking, 265, 375 square metre blocks. Yeah, yeah. They're now in the 400s. We haven't even built their house yet, you know.
And that area of Anketell was driven by the suburbs you mentioned around it, the Wandies and that, because they were going gangbusters. They were close enough to Coburn Central, which is a main hub. Hamilton Park. Hamilton Park. Hamilton Park. All that kind of area, it flew up, right? And again, Anketell we knew it was there, but they hadn't released it, and then it just went bang, like that. And then big old Costco decided to go and dump their second big warehouse on there, and that's just going to throw it.
Yes.
But it's just going to make it more and more.
Where Anketell is exciting because, one, it's underdeveloped, but all the infrastructure is already in place. So you have the freeways there, you have the train stations there, you have the Costco's there, shopping. And we laugh about Costco, but you go, well, if a major brand is putting $15 million behind Anketell, then you should also follow suit, you know?
That was a big one. It was like, where's the next Costco going? And there was talk it was going to be Bibber Lake and that, and then all of a sudden it's like we're in. How quickly they said we're going, and it was 18 months or something. It was
rapid.
Crazy.
And even if you go to Anketell now, it's incredibly underwhelming in terms of it's still very much rural. I'd call it rural, really. You have that pie petrol station at the beginning as you enter.
Well, there's still not much there.
It's still well and truly, like we've literally, the blocks we got sort of at the beginning of the year for cheap, we're just settling now. So the builds is just coming in now. In 5 years' time, it's one to watch, but considering they had $200,000 growth in 6 months? Yeah.
That whole area has just exploded, the whole area around it, and it's very we talk about suburbs being they're right near, and they're really butted again and right next to each other.
But what's interesting about Anketell is they have like a lot of land developments happening at one time. So they have quite a few land developments all within, you know, walking distance from each other. But there's 4 or 5 coming, and there's 4 or 5 currently being released. So they're all rapidly going in terms of town planning. The way they develop land is you have to have a school for so many ratios. You need to have parkland for so many ratios. So it will be incredibly beautiful once it's done, but it's still so infant. It's one to watch. And
when you're driving south past with Anketell and out on your left, you just keep driving. Houses in and it stops. It's like basically Costco, and then there's nothing till the big service stations.
Yeah.
That's going to get developed. It has to. People, there's nowhere else for us to start going. It has to get developed. And I can just see it going all the way down. And eventually, I think it'll be like basically north of the river where it just connects right up to Mindarie.
Yes.
It has to happen.
Yeah.
Has to. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So they're the ones to watch the last 12 months. I think we'll bring out the map again in 12 months' time. We'll see what has grown, and we might even expand the map a bit. I want to really focus on that Rockingham to Mandurah corridor as well, the medians.
So. I think maybe even at the start of the year, we might even just say this is our predictions for the biggest and see who gets the closest.
I will win. I'm very competitive.
Just cheat.
Yeah. I will cheat. How am I going to cheat? It's a prediction.
Because I'll forget.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for listening. I hope
you started. You can finish it this year.
Like, share, subscribe, all the good stuff. Please comment. If you want a copy of the last maps, feel free to email us. We'll email them through. But it's incredibly powerful to see wherever everywhere is sitting and where to put your money.
How they'll sit next to each other. To get your head around it, because if you're not from Perth, even from your northern suburbs, don't know the south, it's really good to go,
Yeah, and just positioning.
Yeah, where you want to be.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, thank you very much.
And goodbye.
Bye. This is the Build Out West podcast with your host Tony Hyde from Evolution House and Land Specialists and Catherine Smith from Build Bright Builder Brokers.
If you guys are looking to build in WA or simply curious to see what's going on in building, you guys are in the right place. We're here to give insight with professionals in the game, coming to give the inside scoop. Episodes are uploaded weekly, so don't worry, we don't skip a beat and you won't either. Like, share, subscribe, sit back, relax, and let's go.